did you know that businesses with a clear vision are 50% more likely to hit their growth targets? I want you to think about that. 50%. That's huge, y'all. And can you see your business 3 years from now? I used to have a lot of trouble with this myself. But here's what I want you to know. When I say see your business, I'm not just talking about the numbers and the goals, but the full picture. How will your business feel? How will it look? How does it operate? If this is difficult for you or you want to get better at building out your vision, please stick around because today we're talking about how to create your expansive vision to fuel your passion and your impact.
Welcome to the Grow Your Business for Good show. This is a place where coaches and consultants gather so you can learn how to lead a world-class business that does not tax your time, your energy, or your financial resources. We are your hosts, Shannon Hernandez
and Amy Hager of the Joyful Business Revolution. And our number one goal is to bring you clarity and insight on how to grow your business for good. We're so glad you are here today. And if you're ready to move beyond the vague goals and actually define what success looks like for you, then you're in the right place. This episode is for you. So what if you could map out success step by step? Imagine having that clear roadmap that guides you with every decision that you make. And as we go in today, we're going to really walk you through our expansive visioning process step by step so that you can build clarity, you can build focus and momentum in your business.
I mean, Amy, I don't know who doesn't want the trifecta of clarity, focus, and momentum.
I would agree.
Seriously. Listen, whether you're just starting out or you're ready to level up, get a new vision, get excited about business again, having an expansive vision can transform how you approach business growth. Before we dive in, I want to share a few of my own visions I have for 2025. Now, I am going to be the first to say I've been on a little bit of a vision slump for the past couple of years. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing because we were able to maintain right where we were. And there are times in business where you need to maintain, y'all, right? Amy and I talk about this a lot. No business can actually sustain growth, month after month after month, and keep your joy, keep your sanity, and all those things, right? So for the past couple of years, I haven't had a truly expansive vision, but the vision was more in terms of solidifying the relationships on the team with the team we had, cleaning up some systems and how we do things on the back end, right? That was basically it for the most part. It was more of a sustaining vision. And so if you've been in that place, I don't want you to make yourself wrong. But now, as we enter in 2025, I am feeling renewed vision for what I want to build coming up in the next year, maybe next couple of years. And I want to share some of those with you. So first of all, Amy and I have been hosting dinners around the country for 7 years collectively, right? I used to host them in Brooklyn. There they were called the Founders Dinners. This past year, we brought them back after COVID and we called them the Mastermind Dinners. And I'm going to be rebranding them and actually calling them the Connection Table. And I'm excited because I'm building out the entire flow process and doing some research and development so that I can roll this out as a licensed model for others to purchase and to be able to lead these connection tables in their community. So Amy, I haven't even got to talk to you much about this yet. So what are your thoughts as you hear this today?
Well, so as someone who is very much so an extrovert, very much so dives into any situation and just frickin' figures it out, I do think it will be nice for even people like me who are probably already doing something like this to have a little bit more structure to it. And I think that's the game changer is having that structure so one, everybody does feel welcome to engage in the conversation, and two, that everybody really does leave with feeling really full, not only full of yummy food, but full of great deep conversation. And I've been trying to hold these in different ways, whether it's brunch, happy hour. It just kind of whenever my schedule allows, wherever I'm going to be, I'll host these. But Shannon's model is it's a Thursday every month, same location. And so I do think that by bringing together the models that we've created in this brand and allowing people to feel through what feels most aligned for them is going to be really cool to see.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I held my first research and development call
Yeah,
last week, or yeah, 2 weeks ago already. And there were 6 people there who really kept saying to me, will you teach me how to run these in my community? And
right.
so it was so fun to like come together and get their perspectives. And I have like a whole page of notes of things I want to think about.
Yeah.
So, y'all, if you've ever wanted to host some sort of a very intimate gathering that really is first for being a human,
Yeah.
second for deeply connecting, and third, we just know business is exchanged and collaborations are formed when you can connect at a table, right? So be on the lookout for that. The other thing, if you've read our blog or you've read our newsletter, you know that we have been slowly shifting into a seasonal business model here at Joyful Business Revolution. So at the time of this podcast, we are deep into the winter season. For me, it's more of a time of rest, reflection, and visioning, which is why you're getting this episode today, right? And then as we progress through this next year, Joyful Business Revolution will be doing these kinds of things in the marketing on the back end based with the season. So spring will be for implementing fresh ideas and planting our
Mhm.
seeds. Summer will be for growth and nurturing and community. And fall will be for full visibility and harvesting all of what we have created over this past year. And Amy, I always wonder what you think on the other side of Voxer because I come at you with these freaking harebrained ideas. You never like make me wrong for it, but what are your thoughts on the seasonal business model?
No, I think it makes sense. And I feel like we've already been doing it, but we just weren't able to, one, I guess, label it properly, but two, we weren't really clear on what are the actions that we take in each season. And I think we've been doing these actions very intuitively for the last 4 or 5 years now. But now that we can actually identify and have the clarity of the flow and the processes, that just it finally feels like, oh, what we've been doing actually makes a lot of sense and is such a beautiful way for us to build this brand. And again, it works well for us. It's spoken to a lot of people that I've been talking with. And there's some people that no, this model isn't going to really flow as well for them, but some of the concepts might be. And I think that's the important part about what we do is we want to make sure that yeah, our flow works for us, but what's your flow? What is your focus? How does your business grow and how does your energy flow with that? So I think it's going to be really fun as we play with pieces and parts of this and help our clients figure out what they can use, what serves them, what doesn't serve them. But it's nice to finally have a label for what we've been intuitively doing.
Yeah, I love that. Now, another idea I hit Amy with last week, and I don't know. I don't know if I like stunned her in a silence or what, but it took her a few days to answer. I said, Amy, I'm planning a podcast tour for myself in 2025. I want to guest on at least 36 podcasts this year. It was sort of just silent for a few days. So, what the hell, Amy?
I mean, the biggest thing that I always worry about is that actually going to be energetically capable? And does that make sure that you stay in energetic alignment. And again, this is the great part about being a joyful duo is we get to ask these questions of each other. And it's interesting because if you would have told Shannon 2 years ago that she was going to do a podcast tour and appear on 36 podcasts over the year, she would have told you, oh, hail to the no. That ain't joyful and I ain't doing that shit. And so I think what is interesting, and we're actually going to talk about this in the next episode, so teaser, is we change and grow as business owners, as humans, as we have experiences. And so I think one, Shannon has been able to change and grow and have some experiences that now helps her feel aligned with actually doing podcasts. And two, because she's a big systems and processes person, she now has a system and process for it. I've been the one doing all of our podcast guesting for the last, 3 years now. And my process and system has even gotten refined and stronger, but my system is different than Shannon's system. And so I do think it is interesting how we now can utilize this stage or this platform that I've been enjoying for the last few years, that now we get to see if you enjoy it. And here's the thing, it's a playful experiment. If we realize that, you know what, this still isn't alignment for Shannon, one, we're not going to make her wrong for it. And two, it's good to know. Maybe in a few more years, she'll want to try it again. Who knows? But I think because of your experiences, you've been able to change and shift a little bit around it, and we'll see how it goes. That's all we can do.
Well, maybe in a few more years, I'll be doing a TV show circuit. We have to laugh. Y'all, that's like a very big vision that I've never had. That's why I said that. But the reason, so I want to just piggyback to what I said at the front about I was in more sustained energy for a couple years. My energy was whack, y'all. I'm talking like I hit menopause. I finally got a diagnosis for ADHD. My mom had health issues. We still were working through a lot of, like, I would say emotional stuff with my wife, transitioning. We're just coming up on 5 years on that. My energy, I hadn't learned to regulate it. So I'd have these really high highs and then I'd have these really low lows. So I really spent the last couple of years learning how to keep my energy even. Even in a high sales month when I would normally like be top of the world and couldn't sleep for a few days, and then keep it even in a low sales month where I'd be freaking out and have money scarcity because the business was going to go under. Right. Yeah. So, I think that's a big part of why I now feel like I can do some of these things that require more energy of me. The other thing is I want to reach a broader audience, right? Like we've got so many amazing things happening at Joyful Business Revolution. We've got true solutions that help just about every business owner on the face of the planet with their messaging and organic marketing. And I want to spread the good news. So we'll see how it goes. I might get 12 in and be like, fuck this, I'm not doing it. And that's okay. Finally, one of my final visions for this next year or two is I'm really deeply considering creating a messaging certification program based on our 6 content types. We call it our messaging ecosystem. We believe there are 6 content types that make up a well-rounded messaging ecosystem. And the reason this is really important to me is because I know how the content I've transformed into for marketing and helped our clients transform into it has changed people's lives on the end of receiving it. I'm talking like less trauma in the marketing copy, less trauma in the claims of, using outlier claims, like really thoughtful, deep thought leadership type messaging. Yeah. And I'm excited about this mainly because, well, Amy, you give me a curriculum to build and I'm fucking happy. But it's about the impact, right? It's like, what if just 50 more people were certified in this and they were teaching it. Imagine the ripple effect
Right.
that we would have in this industry. So, y'all, you can probably hear the excitement and the fire in my voice. And that's exactly how an expansive vision should look and feel to you when you land on it. So, Amy, let's dive in into how our listeners can shape their own expansive vision for the year ahead.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you're just like, I don't even know, like Shannon is an ideas person. She's a manifesting generator. Like this comes so easy to her. I don't even know where to start. So first off, let's define an expansive vision. So if you're not driving or walking, go ahead and take a deep breath, close your eyes. And I want you to imagine that you wake up 3 years from now. You're stepping into your office and everything is running exactly how you always dreamed it would. Imagine that your team is joyful and productive and excited about the vision, that your systems are seamless and your clients are your biggest raving fans. That's the kind of clarity that we're really talking about. An expansion vision isn't just about like the goals. It's about actually seeing that full future process and being able to see it in like 3D full color detail. Like if you imagine when someone who needed glasses all of a sudden gets glasses and how clear everything is to them now. Yeah, they could kind of see it, but it's now in 3D. So that's what I really want you to kind of take a step back and just dream. That's the first step.
Laughing. I'm thinking about my bifocals this year.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
I can finally see the print on the page.
Oh, I love it.
That's a good analogy. All right, so my bifocals are on, y'all. I actually have contacts now that have bifocals in them. It's amazing. And this is the key to letting yourself dream big, right? You've got to be able to see it. We want you to help you picture it. We want you to help you feel it. And so I had a client who came to us and they thought that their business was just capped at 6 figures, right?
Yeah.
And that would have been fine if that's what they wanted, but their vision was bigger than that. And so after working with us on her expansive vision, here's what she saw. She saw herself running a 7-figure business. She saw herself having a remote team that she really said, I want to grow this business so I can give people jobs. Right? And she saw herself breaking the boundaries of the US and Canada and moving to international clients. And so that vision became her roadmap, right? And we talk a lot in this brand and with you as our guests on the podcast, as our listeners on the podcast, in our newsletter, there is no one magic path of success. So her roadmap was built, her strategy, right? We built her strategy with the vision. That vision became the roadmap. And 2 years later, she hit the 7-figure mark. That is the power of dreaming big. I also want you to notice I said 2 years later, not 2 days, not 2 months, because this is the type of work that needs to be embodied, right? Your vision, your team needs to be on board. You need to be on board. Your cells and your nervous system need to be on board. Your heart needs to be on board, right? So this isn't fast work, but she had a vision that was exciting and she had a vision that we could put a roadmap to. And then we were able to help her each step of the way. So Amy, how do we create this vision?
Yeah, so let me give you a couple examples and some strategies to kind of go through. So if you really think about this, one, it does come down to imagining. So you have to imagine your expansive vision. And let's say your expansion vision includes hosting retreats around the world. We work with a lot of clients who want to host retreats. And so I want you to start by describing one exact location. Maybe it's going to be a villa in Tuscany. Maybe it's a beachfront resort in Bali. Maybe it's going to a culinary experience in Mexico. Hint, hint, wink, wink. We have one of those coming up in September. But I want you to really picture the guests, right? It's the conversations, it's the breakthroughs that will be happening in that space, and really imagine the atmosphere and the transformation that people will experience and that impact that you're creating. So when you can really get down to that level of detail, that's really what's going to make your vision magnetic and actionable. And, as you sit here and describe this, well, I'm going to let you describe it to Shannon, and then she's going to be able to draw it because she's such a much better drawer than I am. But really, that's how clear you should be able to share your vision. And being able to really imagine the people, the location, the experiences, the transformations that will happen, that's going to be the first step in this process.
I love that. So step 2 is we need to get specific. All right.
Okay.
So if part of your vision is launching a podcast, right? That's very big. This is like same thing we talk about messaging. If it's too big, no one can hear it. In this case, if your vision is too big and not specific enough, you can't imagine it. So you want to launch a podcast. Imagine the first episode. Are you doing it solo? Do you have a co-host? Is there a guest? What's the topic of your first episode? And when that episode is released, how do listeners respond to the debut episode? What kind of feedback are you getting? I want you to visualize the reviews pouring in and the people sharing your episodes across social and with their friends, right? Or maybe your vision, your expansive vision in this next year includes growing your team, right? You're going to imagine new hires to your team joining, how the onboarding process is going to go, the fresh ideas that will be infused with this future teammates, and how you're going to create synergy and excitement for the vision that's in your heart and soul. The key here is to write it all down as if it's already happening or happened.
Yeah.
And this is something I've been working on. And it's probably why I have the vision I have now, is because the last year I've been writing down. It is 2025. Now, I did this in 2024. You are on an international podcast tour and you have blah, blah, blah. These are the topics that you talked about. This is the results that happened because of it.
Yeah.
That's how I have to vision, y'all, because I actually have that thing. I can't even remember what it's called, but it's a thing where your mind cannot see in pictures. Okay. So I have to access my vision by writing and journaling as if it's already happened. Then I can usually sketch something after I've written to Amy's point, right? So Amy, step 3 is super important. Tell us about the next part.
Yeah, so step 3 is aligning that vision with your values. And so making sure that you know your values. And so let's say that impact is one of your core values. You want to describe how your business is giving back. So maybe it's you're sponsoring scholarships, maybe you're partnering with nonprofits, maybe you're creating sustainable products, maybe you're out volunteering your time and energy. And so you really got to think through, how does that align with your core values? So let's think through another core value that I frequently hear people say is freedom is a priority. So what is freedom in your schedule? Is that all day Friday off? Is that long weekends? Is it months traveling abroad without missing a beat in your business? So your vision should really reflect not just the goals, but also those lifestyles that you're building and that you're living.
Yeah. And the
What's the final step?
the final piece of this, y'all, is if you feel safe, and I do really mean this. Step 4, share your vision. Okay. Now sometimes we have to choose who we share our vision with. I
Yeah.
no longer share my vision with my father because no matter what the vision is, he finds 25 reasons why it will never work. That's how he's wired, right?
Mm.
My mom, on the other hand, I can dream big with her, right? So I've learned who to share my vision with. You need to make sure you have this discernment, all right, so that your vision isn't squashed. But once you have identified that person or people, talk about it with them. Maybe it's your team. Maybe your audience in your email newsletter, on your podcast, like we've done here today, right?
Yeah.
Because when people know where you're headed, the right people will be more likely to help you get there. And that's really, really important. So,
So
Amy, let's tackle some FAQs we often get about expansive vision. And
do you want to kick off? Because I know you just got a question actually this past week. You
yeah,
start first.
yeah. So the question I got this week, which was a good question, by the way, is
Yeah.
what if I'm not sure where I even want my business to be 3 years from now?
Yeah.
And listen, don't make yourself wrong for it. Okay. Maybe you're in sustaining mode, or maybe you need help. Get on the phone with Amy and paint the picture of your vision for her so she can ask you questions.
Yeah.
All right. But I encouraged our client to start thinking about what excites her the most about the future and to define the type of impact she wants to have. And here's the thing, we have to be willing to let our vision evolve, right?
Yes.
Clarity comes with action. So, had
Mm.
I not brought the dinners back after COVID or listened to the people who kept saying, can you show me how to do this? I wouldn't have known I even had a vision of, creating a
Right.
licensed model that people can roll out in their communities for these connection tables.
Mm.
So let your vision evolve and remember to get some support along the way to help you clarify the vision.
Mm-hmm. And I think another thing is, how detailed should my expansive vision actually be? And I always say the more detail, the better. So don't just write down, I want to make more money. Let's describe how much money do you want to make? What will you do with it? How will you feel once you achieve that? Because money needs clarity and purpose. And if you're sitting here and you're just like, I still can't figure this out, maybe it is sitting with a strategist like Shannon and I so that we can ask you questions. And so when I think about my expansive vision from 2024, about halfway through the year, I got really clear that I really wanted to remodel our main level. And I really wanted a bathtub and a larger bathroom and my laundry room to be out of my mudroom and into my bathroom. And so I really had to get clear on what exactly that I wanted, down to the tile, down to I didn't want any grout lines in my shower. I had to get really clear on what that cost was. And then that way I knew how much money I needed to make in order to start that project. And literally, as soon as that money was in our account, we were sitting with the right person having lunch. They were on a slower period of time for their business and they do these type of remodels. And we started 7 days later and didn't even bat an eye. I wasn't nervous about the money. I wasn't nervous about the process. I wasn't nervous how long it was going to take because I had become really clear on all of the detailed pieces that I wanted in this expansive vision. Shannon, one thing though, that as I went through this remodeling process, we'll continue on that example. A lot of people talk about their team, but what happens when your team doesn't have that vision with you? What do you do there?
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing about Amy's bathroom remodel is I knew because I had been to her house and she was walking me through the house and she's like, look, this door is going to be gone and this is going to be a wall and that one's going to be over there. And I was like, wow, it's so cool to know the vision of my teammates as well. Right. And we even started our team meeting this past December with what is a goal or vision you have for 2025? And it was really fun, right? So one of the things I'd say is if you and your team aren't sharing the visions for the business, the visions for your life, it's time to change that, right? I want you to ask your team. I want you to ask yourself. I want you to make sure your team knows the why behind your own vision expansion. And then I want you to show them how they fit into the picture and how achieving the benefits or the results will benefit everyone involved. And I'm going to take it one step further and say, if you want to be a progressive leader this year, you'll get your team involved in the idea storming about the vision so that they feel just as excited as you do during your brand vision sessions, right? We've got to keep it alive and at the front and center of everything that we do as we grow our businesses and grow our brands.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Shannon, because I'm actually working with one of our clients and she runs childcare centers. And she has a very clear vision of what the ideal day is, but she needs to involve her team on it. So I'm actually facilitating one of her team meetings on Zoom. They're all going to be there together, but asking them those questions to make sure that they're a part of that process, even though she's already done it. And so I think that's really important. And I'm curious to see what we uncover. But one question too that kind of is coming up on my heart is how often should I revisit my expansive vision? And I would say regularly. Seasonally is a great rhythm for us. If you're working off the quarter system, quarter is a good way to kind of think through it. But you want to make sure that you're staying on track, making sure that you're making the adjustments, checking in with your experiments and seeing what feels joyful and what doesn't, and really talk about, how things are feeling. And we have a process that's called the Joy Money Board. And it literally is this visual board with sticky notes that we can move things around and it gives us that visual. And so if having that visual is important for you to have that self-reflection conversation, then let's figure out what visual do you need so that you can actually have that conversation. And when you do revisit your expansive vision, how is it going?
Yeah. Yeah, there was so much good stuff in this episode. I think you're going to have to rewind it.
It got a little long, so thanks for hanging with us.
Yeah. We can geek out on vision. So let me quickly sum up this episode. Creating an expansive vision isn't just about dreaming. It's about building a roadmap that lays out the strategy for your business. And you start by dreaming without limits, right? Don't let your brain tell you it's not worthy. You're going to get specific about your goals and you're going to align with your values and you're going to share your vision widely with those you trust. And don't forget to review it quarterly or seasonally so that you can stay focused and motivated as you grow. We would love to hear about your expansive vision ideas. Feel free to share them with us via email or on social. And Amy, what if people want to get with you to talk about their vision? How can they do that?
Yeah, so we are definitely here for you. And like I said, it's not the same process for everyone, but our signature program called Joy-Fueled Growth Coaching, the Joy-Fueled Business Growth Coaching Program. I was like, I'm missing a word there. That doesn't sound right. Really helps you if you're looking to align your marketing with your purpose so that you can grow a business that's filled with freedom, fulfillment, and of course, your deep lifestyle values, your purpose. So if you'd like to schedule a 20-minute call with me, the link will be in the show notes. I can't wait to meet you and expand into your next level of success. So thank you for tuning in to Grow Your Business for Good. Until next time, bye.
Adios.